Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you for agreeing to accept the nomination and also for applying. When I saw your qualifications, I was very pleased because I believe that you have understand Parliament and you have worked on rights issues. And I believe that this is a good time for people, a person like you, to understand what rights of all Canadians are. And my first question to you is, when it comes to rights of all Canadians, what kind of lens or what kind of diversity training will you do within your staff? So when they are looking at privacy issues, they are addressing issues that are faced by all Canadians.
Thank you, Senator. And this is something that is near and dear to my heart in terms of ensuring the proper lens. So I am advocating for privacy lens, privacy by design, looking at everything one does, whether it's the government, whether it's the private sector, and asking the question about impacts and building it into the design. So you're not doing it at the end, once it's done and faced with concerns. I think that's also very important in terms of diversity and inclusion, and there can be links there with privacy as well. We can see some concerns if their algorithmic decision-making leads to profiling or bias or these types of things. In terms of the team, in terms of the staff, when I, in my current role as House Law Clerk, I have been the diversity and inclusion champion, leading a group of committed employees from all sectors of the House at all levels, management or otherwise. And what I told them when I was appointed champion was that I wanted all of them, all of us, to become ambassadors of inclusion, so that whatever we did, whatever our role was, we would ask the question, what is the impact of this decision that I'm making, this policy, this behavior that I have? What impact does it have on diversity and inclusion? If it's not a good one, we should question that behavior, and unless it's essential to have it, we should stop it. So I will be adopting the same approach if confirmed in my new role.
Thank you very much for your answer. And my question to you is that obviously you will follow that same diversity and inclusion model that you have developed earlier on. So I'm not going to even ask you that. I'm assuming you will. And I don't know if you have had the chance to study some of the recommendations of the previous Privacy Commissioner. One was on note-taking for border security officials. And he examined 6 complaints, and he found it very inadequate. And especially with the rights lens that you will bring, and especially with your knowledge on rights, if you may have not read this yet, and I'm willing to wait for an answer, but I'd like to know if you are going to pursue making sure that border security officers' note-taking is adequate, especially with the new legislation, S7, that the minister has introduced.
Well, and S7 is the object of discussions, including in terms of the standard that is being used, and it was raised in terms of could this have an impact in terms of how it's used and whether they're more unfavorable decisions vis-a-vis certain groups, certain individuals. And so these are things we have to look for, and we have to make sure that there is information about it so that we can correct if any approach has a discriminatory impact or negative privacy impact. So I think that these are, we do have to have that lens to ensure that our practices are consistent, both with human rights in terms of non-discrimination, which would not, strictly speaking, be my mandate, but that would animate what I do, and also from a privacy lens.
Thank you very much. Thank you for answering.